Hi, class. I believe you were spared from my collection of four-letter words in that last video because every time it turned off, that happened to be the time when I was cursing. So hopefully, fingers crossed, there will be no glitches in this recording. Okay, so we are finishing up with 4.5, solving exponential and log equations. And this video will cover solving log equations, okay? So there are a couple of things I want to mention here. So what we're going to be using is that one particular property of logs, the ones that were kind of intuitive, but then there was one that wasn't quite. So we're going to be using this one. The fact that if you have a to the log base a, right? So we're going to be using this property, which comes from the inverse. The one about the inverse from way back, where if you take F circle G, G circle F, you end up with X. So that's what this one is. It shows up in your property of logs. This one is going to be used in such a way so that it gives the appearance that this and this is canceling out and leaving you with X. Okay, so that's how we're going to kind of use this property. Okay, one thing you definitely want to do here, now, if you recall, we're only taking log of positive numbers, right? So you definitely have to check your answers because we do have restrictions here. So anything outside of our domain, so 0 is outside of our domain, negative numbers are outside of our domain. We can't use those X values that give us a 0 or negative result. Okay, so when you finally solve your log equation, you'll need to check final answers. Because over here, whatever we have in here, right, this can't be 0 or negative, okay? At least not in this class. Okay, so let's go ahead and have a look. All right, let's start with this example. Let's go ahead and solve 1 plus log. Remember, no base is base 10, okay? Equals 0. Okay? So again, just like with exponentials, we want to get the log term by itself. So I'm going to subtract 1 on both sides. Okay? And now I'm going to use that property. So now use the property. Okay? So when it comes to solving equations, it seems like students are used to doing something to both sides. Okay, so I'll show you how that's being done here with this property. So we know this is log base 10, right? Okay, so this is log base 10. And here, I'm going to go ahead and write it in here so that you can see it. Okay, and so if we want to use that property, then I call it basing both sides. Okay, so you can do this. Okay, and we know from this property right over here, right, that this side on the left, it's like they kind of cancel out. Okay, so it's like they cancel out. It's not that they're canceling out, it's we're applying that property. And equals 10 to the negative 1 power. 10 to the negative 1 takes the reciprocal. Okay? And now we can solve for x as usual. So we'll add 4 to both sides. Okay? And you get 3x equals, that's 4 and 1/10. Okay. 4 and 1/10, though, that's the same as 41 over 10. Okay. And then I can divide both sides by 3, or multiply both sides by a third. Okay. Means the same thing. Divide by 3, multiply by 1/3, same. Okay. So divide by 3 to cancel there, which is the same as saying multiply by 1/3. Okay. And that gives me 41 over 30. Okay. And again, you have to check your final answer. We don't want negative or 0 inside the log. Okay, so 41 over 30. So when I plug 41 over 30 into there, 40, so let's go ahead and do that off to the side. 1 plus log 10, 3 times 41 over 30 minus 4 equals 0. And then here we get 10. And so we get 1 plus log 10. And then here we get 4 1/4 minus 4. And so here, so this is, we're not getting 0 inside there. I can, 4 1/4 is more than 4. So 4 1/4, and you take away 4, you're still good. You're not 0, you're not negative. So you can stop there. If you want to keep going, you can, but I can already see that it works. Okay. Now, if you end up with 0 inside here, or negative when you plug your answer in, then you have to cross it out and say no solution. Okay. All right, let's take a look at this one. Let's go ahead and solve log base 4 of x squared plus 5x plus 10 equals 1. Okay, so here in this case, the log is already by itself. Here, I'm going to rewrite it down here so we can do all the work. Okay, so log term is by itself, so I can go ahead and base both sides. Base is 4, so I'm going to use 4 to that power, and I'm going to do 4 to the first power. Okay, so here it's like they cancel out. It's not that they cancel out, we're using that property. Okay, 4 to the first power is 4. Okay. Now here you have a quadratic that you have to solve for. Okay, so remember, for quadratics, we have to set this equal to 0. So let's subtract 4 on both sides. So I get x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0. And then here I can go ahead and factor. So I get x times x. Both signs are positive, and we get 3 and 2. Okay, so I get x equals -3 as an answer, and I also get x equals -2 as an answer. So we have to check both of these. Okay, so if I plug in -3, if I plug in -3 in here, okay, so what we're doing here is we're checking. I get -3 squared plus 5 times -3 plus 10, and I get 9 minus 15 plus 10, and here I get 4. Okay, so we're good. If I check the other answer, x equals -2, Then I get negative 2 squared plus, negative 2 squared plus 5 times negative 2 plus 10. And I get 4 minus 9 minus 10. Okay, plus 10. Okay, so we end up with 4. So we're good. Okay. So again, we're checking because sometimes you might get answers over here that when you plug it back into this here inside the log, you end up with a 0 or negative. And we are not taking logs of 0 or negative in this class. Okay. We didn't get 0 or negative. We got positive 4 both times. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at this example here. This one is going to be an example where you use your properties to condense. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve log x plus 8. Again, no bases, base 10. Okay, so if you notice in the previous examples, you only had one log. Okay, so let's take a look. You only had one log. Okay, same thing with this one up here. Okay, so you only had one log. Okay, but in this next example, you'll see that I have more than one log. I have 2. Okay, so that's too many logs. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we are going to condense this. So we're going to use our properties for condensing, right? So remember, you only have the 3 properties. One that allows you to bring the exponent down to the front. And then you have the one here, if you have addition, you can rewrite it as 1 log, which is what we want. When we're solving logs, we like to have only 1 log, okay, on each side. Okay, so log. And since we have sum, then we're going to have a product. Okay, equals 1. Now, if it was subtraction, then we would have division, right? X plus 8 over x minus 1 had it been subtraction. Okay, so when it's addition, you can condense it to a single log of a product. Okay, so now we have the log term all by itself. So now I can base both sides. Again, no base is base 10. Okay, so I'm going to use 10. Okay, and so it's like these guys cancel out. And I'm left with x plus 8 times x minus 1 equals 10. Okay, so this is a quadratic because if I multiply this side out, it'll be a quadratic. So let's go ahead and do that. X squared. So maybe you know how to do this quickly. So it's going to be 8x minus 1x. So that's going to be plus 7x and then minus 8 equals 10. Okay. And so if you didn't understand how I did that, then just make sure you multiply it out step by step. X times x is x squared. X times that is negative x. 8 times that is positive 8x. 8 times that is negative 8. Okay, and you get x squared plus 7x minus 8. Okay. All right, so we have a quadratic. Okay, so again, the first thing we need to do is condense. Okay. Condense to 1 log. Okay. And so that's the first thing you want to do. Condense it to 1 log. Okay. Then you can go ahead and base both sides to get rid of the log. And now we have a quadratic. So we're going to go ahead and set this equal to 0. So let's go ahead and subtract 10 on both sides. So I get x squared plus 7x minus 18 equals 0. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and factor this. Okay, so we're trying to find x times x to make x squared. We need one positive, one negative, and it looks like it's going to be 9 and 2. Positive 9 and negative 2. Okay, so my answers so far are going to be negative 9, x equals negative 9, and x equals 2. Okay, so again, we have to check. Okay, I'm going to go over here to check. All right, so negative 9. Now, these are kind of easy, so let's not even work it out by hand. Negative 9. Okay, so when I plug in negative 9 in here, what do I get? Negative 9 plus 8 is negative 1. So negative numbers, no. Not that 9 is negative. It's that the negative 9 inside here, negative 9 plus 8, that result is negative. We don't want the result inside to be negative or 0. Okay, so eliminate the negative 9. The other one was 2. When I plug into this one, I get 10. So far, so good. When I plug into in here, I get 1. And so here, our only answer is x equals 2. Okay. All right. Let's do one with subtraction. So suppose I have this log base 5, 3x minus 1, minus log base 5, 2x plus 7, equals 0. Okay, oops, that doesn't say 0. Okay. Okay, so again, too many logs. So we're going to go ahead and condense this. This time we have some subtraction. So I'm going to write it as a single log. And this time it's not going to be a product, but a quotient. So it's going to be 3x minus 1 over 2x plus 7. Okay? So remember, addition, you have a product. Subtraction, you have quotient. Okay? And I forgot my base. My base is 5. Okay, so my base is 5. So I'm going to go ahead and base both sides using 5. So it always has to match the base like over here. Okay? So it's like they cancel. We're applying the property. It's not that they cancel, but for visual effect, we'll do that. And 5 to the 0 power, 5 to the 0 power is? Good. Did you say 1? Okay, very good. So here, if you remember how to solve these, I have to multiply both sides by that denominator, 2x plus 7. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and multiply both sides by 2x plus 7 to cancel it out on the left. Okay, so here they cancel out. And so I get 3x minus 1 equals 2x plus 7. And this is a simple linear equation to solve. So I'm going to subtract 2x on both sides. Okay, so I get 1x, or just x, minus 1 equals 7. Add 1 to both sides, so x equals 8. X equals 8, so let's go and check that. Okay, so in here, 3 times 8 is 24, minus 1 is 23. So far, so good. In here, 3 times 8 is 24, plus 7 is going to be a positive number, so we're good. So again, we don't want to have negative or negative or zero result inside. Okay, so that is pretty much it for solving log equations. So just make sure that if you have too many logs, that you condense it. You can have one on each side. You can have one on the left and one on the right. That's okay. But if you have two of them on the same side, that's not good. Okay. All right. So if you have any questions, make sure you email me or you message me through the Remind app. A lot of you guys are asking a lot of questions, good questions. So keep sending them my way. All right. Keep up with the homework. We are almost done with chapter 4, and you will be having a test very soon. All right. Have a good day.